Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I thought I'd do an update on the figs, on the status of the figs so far this year. What is today? I think today is July 24th. I'm not certain. Don't have my phone on me, but I thought I'd start off with this. This is a Black Madeira from last year, a cutting that I started last year. And it's just doing great, and I've been contemplating whether or not I was going to up-pot this or just list it for sale. You know, you put so much time and energy into these, you sort of get attached to them, so it's hard to give them up. But this is a Black Madeira, and I'm thinking this one sourced is from Encanto Farms. I just have a feeling this just looks pretty good. And you can see the figs here, they sort of have a bluish tint to them. I could not find a quarter that I usually use for a comparison on size. You can see the size of that there. And yeah, for some reason this year they're just, the figs are doing great. It's currently pretty hot and humid, so that would be great while they were ripening. But for now, they're loving this heat and this humidity, I guess. Here is the, this is the most figs that I've seen on my Ischia Blacks. And put tanglefoot on this one, but I just realized I didn't put any on this support here that they could just crawl up and go across the Velcro, I guess. I did tie up some of these branches because not only because of the fig mosaic virus, but they're not getting any there's no motion to the branches here. They're not getting hit by wind or the elements, and it's sort of weak branches. I don't know if that's just a combination of that and the fig mosaic, or mostly the fig mosaic. But a lot of figs on this one, and also on the other one. The other one there, Ischia Black. This is an Ischia Black air layer from last year, and this is that cutting that I transferred, oh, let's see, in July 1st, and actually was a cutting left over from, I started March of last year, 2017, and just was not doing anything until this spring. So that's finally taking to this pot and taking off. I don't know if you can recognize that. I'll throw in the clip I did previously. It got real hot in here. We had some record temperatures and it was just too hot. This is what happened to that recent air layer. Just got too hot in the lean-to. Should have known better. Even though I had it in the shade of the larger trees, it was just too hot in there. I've seen the leaves starting to turn yellow, and I brought it in the cooler cellar, and the next day it just dropped all its leaves. So hopefully that's just a protection mechanism, and it will hopefully recover in a month. And we just had a cool front come through, but then after the weekend, Monday and Tuesday is supposed to be in the 90s again. So I brought it in the cellar, and the leaves were yellowing, and as a protection mechanism it just dropped all its leaves. And just recently this bud here has opened up, so it's recovering, but it was shocked by that heat after I separated it. So that was an air layer that I had started, left over from last year too, I believe. Let's go take a look at the figs in the greenhouse. Oh, another thing real quick. This here fig tree, I think I mentioned in a previous video, it was doing great as a Black Madeira. Yeah, not a Black Madeira. I thought I had gotten rid of all of them. I believe this is Martinenca ramata. If I can recall, I was looking for the striping I was looking for the striping and I don't see it, but I recall that they had these huge leaves. So I think that's what this one is. And I have a couple of feet of growth there, and I've got some figs. So I forgot that I also had one of the Jolly Tiger cuttings left over, and I repotted that, and that's now taking to the new pot and it's taking off. Don't know if I'll just get rid of this variety or keep it. But yeah, that's a cutting that I forgot that I had left over from last year when I got rid of the mother plants, and so I still have a Jolly Tiger variety. But let's go look in the greenhouse. Alright, so my Fuji apples all have little borer marks on them, and they're all, I believe, infected with some worm. I think there's a fly that lays something on them, an egg or something, and it needed to be taken away from the greenhouse. So I have a couple of branches on that I'm thinking of saving, and then maybe trying to weight down with a cinder block and get sort of like an espalier type of shape to that. But definitely I'll be taking down the middle of that. It's just no air circulation in there. But if I look at all of the apples, I don't find any without any borer marks on them. So I need to open that up anyways, get some sun on some of the blueberries. And yeah, if I want something that lower profile, I'll just chop that down to some branches and see if I could reshape it. So I have to cut this stuff up. But here we have the Black Madeiras outside, and if you notice there, I was thinking of doing a separate video, but I have framed out the door opening, and that's all set. And I just got through finding a way to attach it. It did stiffen up to the point where I added those two missing panels, and now I'm just wondering, I tried putting the sliding doors on again, but it's still very tricky the way the design is. Everything has to be perfect for that to be able to slide in that track. It's bottoming out, the frame is hitting the top of the rail. The opening isn't large enough for the way the door is adjusted. I adjusted so it's the smallest that I can have, and it's just a really not a good design. So I'm just figuring out whether I need to want the door swinging in or out. I was still thinking of maybe using the sliding portion, a track there, to do some type of screen that slides and have the doors push in or open in. So yeah, the only thing is I need to stiffen this up now with some conduit. You can see there what I did. But yeah, let's take a look on the inside here. This here is UC Davis Col de Dame Blanc, and it's behind the other figs. It ripens a lot later, and I'm hoping to get that nice green ripe fig with the red interior. And this here is the Ponta Teresa. You can see the size of the fig there. And this is drying out quickly. I need to get that probably in a larger pot. It looks like I might get one of these figs this season, so you can see the size there. Now this here is Black Madeira, definitely UC Davis. You can see, look at this. It almost looks like, I believe that hasn't been eaten, but that's, well, maybe it is. I was thinking that was mostly fig mosaic virus, but look over here. Look at all the figs on that one. I mean, look at the size of that fig. That's going to be a great Black Madeira fig. And there's just this little side shoot here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 figs on that. So, I mean, here there's no figs. And on top, that looks great. So if I was to air layer that, I don't know if that would continue, but it seems to be less infected with fig mosaic virus. This here is, what is this? This is Galicia Negra, is that how that pronounces? Not impressed. I've had Black Madeira cuttings that were productive in the first year, trying to produce a fig, and this one's got no figs on it. So Galicia Negra, you know, it's supposed to be a big deal, but I'm not seeing it. I mean, even the second year now for the what is it again? Ponta Teresa. That's finally producing figs. I mean, this is a pretty good sized tree, and it's got nothing on it. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Here's another Black Madeira, and got a lot of figs. And these are growing. I think the UC Davis Black Madeira sort of have this. I don't want to be generalizing, but this seems to be like a bush-shaped. And the figs, got some great figs here. New growth on this. Got it in the bucket here. I just thought I'd try it out. Some of the buckets I put the holes on the bottom so the water immediately drains out. Others I have it about a ½ inch or an inch from the bottom on the sides. Thought that would be a little reservoir there. Now here is Italian 258. It's just loaded with figs. Look at the size of the figs on this. So looking forward to that. It does seem to be sort of similar to Black Madeira. I was going to do an air layer on this branch here, but never got around to it. Maybe I can still do that. It's got a couple of figs on there. But this is, oh, probably best to put in like a wooden support. I've got something like that. Let's wait for this plane. But what I wanted to point out is this Black Madeira here, which I'm thinking is the Encanto Farms variety. It sort of looks like, if anyone's been purchasing figs off of eBay, they know the fig. Good marketing, a picture from KK. And make sure that points out that that is not the tree that you'll be getting. That is the picture of the mother tree. So this, I believe, was an air layer. Let me separate it and get it out from all these others. But these other figs here, this is another Black Madeira. I would say UC Davis. And again, back to contrast is great if you can get. I think I had one of these figs, and the contrast was more spectacular than the taste for the Col de Dame Blanc. But I'm trying to recall if I did have a really great Col de Dame Blanc at one point. But this seems to be a little bit farther behind. It's probably a little late, more of a late season, even than a Black Madeira. And that's the only one I have for the mother tree. There's one, actually, I think I saw one that was more, maybe that there. And they're really liking it. I'm glad I'm going to cut more off the top of the Fuji apple tree because it's blocking the sun on this greenhouse. So they seem to be doing great. in this environment here. With the gravel, I realized what I was thinking was that lower down it would be retaining more heat because I'm closer, but farther down to where the soil doesn't freeze. But I want to make this level, so either I'm going to purchase some more soil or I have to find soil, sift out some soil from the property and gradually fill this in, level it up so it's not down about I don't know, 9 to 12 inches here, and remove this gravel, figure out what I can do with this gravel. But that was my initial thoughts here. So let me go grab that Black Madeira and Canto Farms with just loaded with figs so we get a better look at that. But really these are all loaded with figs, except the Galicia Negra. Now on the left here, well, in the middle, sort of to the side right here, the one right here, that's Cinderella. And for some reason, it gave me a ton of figs the first year. And I believe I bought a plant, not a cutting. And then the second year, nothing. I mean, I had, in addition to a Madeira crop, a great main crop, and then nothing last year. And this year, I've got a lot of figs. I didn't have a Madeira crop, but I've got a great main crop here. I did start this air layer, which I'll do a separate video on because I noticed today on the bottom I didn't even have to move the foil, that it was just loaded with roots. I've got 2 air layers on this Black Madeira, and I think this Black Madeira is the Encanto Farms Black Madeira because it has a section there which is sort of like an air layer production factory. I keep on removing air layers and it just keeps on producing shoots so I can make more air layers. And then those 2 right there also are filled with roots. But when you look at the top of the tree, it looks exactly like pretty much the same amount of figs too as the other Black Madeira right here that I'm saying is more than likely the UC Davis Black Madeira. Now, the other ones that are in there, I know for a fact, because I started them mostly from cuttings from UC Davis while they were still supplying cuttings. Let's see if I can see any of the, is there tags on any of these? It's so easy to identify, but I thought I had a tag on that one, don't see it. Well, here's one here. UC Davis Black Madeira 2013. So that's a 6-year-old tree. And it's still just a little bit above waist high. Unfortunately, I don't see the label on this one. I believe this was an air layer from the mother plant here on the left. But take a look at this. It's sort of is similar to the I-258, Italian 258, and it just has loaded with figs. Like I said, similar to the picture on KK's auctions. So hopefully, and they got the blue tinge to it, and it's just real healthy. I know it's there, but the fig mosaic virus is not really outwardly visible on, well, there maybe some blotching on that leaf, but really no deformed leaves. And it's just has a lot of figs on it. Every single one of those, any extra Black Madeira figs I can have is great. No complaints. So yeah, I'd like to get the door on this too so I could bring in the larger Black Madeiras and not have to worry. I could probably still figure out how to get them in there and make some type of ramp, and keep the squirrels and the critters off of these once they start ripening. So this is New England Gardening with an update on the figs so far this year. It's looking like it's going to turn out to be a great fig year, unless something goes terribly wrong in the next couple of months. But as far as production goes, there are just lots of figs on my trees this year. You can take a look here, look at all the figs. I might have to support this. There's got to be, let's see, 1, 2, they're squeezing each other out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe 12 just on the tip of that. Probably should thin some of those out. But, yeah. Quick fig update. And the Zingarella. Got all the figs on that shoot right there. This is New England Gardening. Thanks for watching.